One. Live on Facebook, just like that. How about that? And even without loads of technical difficulties in the background, so we'll take that every time. Let's get this show on the road. So, today I'm joined by a good friend of mine who quite literally replaced science for crystals. And you might think, what are you talking about, Danny? Well, she was working as a manager in a laboratory for the NHS. Science was her background, but it just didn't light her up. However, she was brave enough to begin her own business, which involves making handmade jewellery and attuning it with Reiki healing energy. She now ships these pieces around the world, and she's never looked back. This is her fourth time on the show, and she always gives so much value. In this session, Angela is going to be taking your challenges, tuning into them live, and then suggesting a suitable crystal just for you. How cool is that? Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the amazing Angela Richardson of empoweredcrystals.com.
Hello. I always feel all ego boosted after you do your introduction.
You've got to make your guests feel welcome and important and valued, which of course you are, all those things. As I say, thank you for doing this with me. I've kind of gotten out the habit of doing the live streams for a while. I've kind of been out of sorts, so thank you. It's important for you to help me to get back into them as well.
Oh, I love them.
Good. Anyway, so for the benefit of new viewers, what have how did you get into crystals? Just a brief backstory, if you like.
Well, I've always been interested in crystals, and it really increased as a teenager. I used to find quartz while I was on holiday as a little girl. It was scattered around Wales. And I became more and more interested. I've always been interested in alternative health. And then I went into hospital work, biochemistry. And it's sort of all linked in because you'd see patients being treated and they weren't being treated as a whole. And then in my last hospital, they actually started to treat people as a whole and give them alternative therapies as part of their treatment. And because they saw the benefits of it. And I had a dream about a quartz years ago, and it was in a stream and it was wrapped in silver. And I didn't know what it meant at the time. And I looked for it everywhere because I thought, oh, that's really got meaning, that dream. And years later, looking back on it, I realized it was wire wrapping that I'm doing now. So it was a bit of a foretelling dream, really, but it took me another 10 years after that dream to actually get into it.
All right, thanks for that. So I'm just going to check away on Facebook because, as I say, I'm a bit rusty at this, and I'm going to share it into one of the groups as well. Let's have a look. So what have you been up to since we last chatted? I'm going to be a bit rude while you're talking, just to share this in. But what
I've been expanding the business at the moment, so I'm going on because I was on Etsy, and then I did my own websites. My own website I'm trying to concentrate on, but I'm trying to sort of broaden at the moment and expand the business so that everything's a little bit more stable. So I'm going on everywhere at the moment, so it's quite a busy time.
Yeah, you've got a huge Instagram following. I know the last time we chatted, you had 50,000 or something.
I think I've got 13,000 on Instagram. I've got 5.5 on Facebook, and I think I've got 1,500 on Pinterest. So and
YouTube as well.
YouTube, yes. About 800 and something on YouTube, so just near the 1,000 mark.
Well, you do really well. Good for you. I'm delighted for you. Do you have any top selling crystals? Is there such a thing, or is it kind of just, is it all random and just?
No, God, no. There's celestite every time, everywhere. It's always celestite. It's the biggest seller, and moonstone. Everybody loves moonstone. I think if there wasn't competition, I would think amethyst and rose quartz would be favourites, but because there's so much competition, I don't particularly see it as the biggest seller. But yeah.
What's so good about celestite? I'm intrigued now.
I think it's because it's so rare and it's difficult to get hold of. I have to import it in myself. So I think that's why people love it, and it connects you to angels. So it's very high vibration stone. So it's people always love it when you have something that connects to angels. So
Yeah. I know one of your latest YouTube videos I was watching the other day, you did a crystal grid to ramp up your manifesting power.
yeah.
I'd love for you to talk about crystal grids, what they are, and why they are so potent. It's helped you to manifest what you want to bring into it.
Right. So a crystal grid is where you get a whole load of different crystals. In actual fact, I'll show you the oracle cards that we'll be using later because they've got perfect examples of them. And so this is what we're talking about with the crystal grids, is we're using sort of different, this has got sort of like clear quartz and malachites. So basically you're using different crystals in a pattern. I personally use my intuition, but I know people like to use power symbols like pentagram or triangle, like the pyramid reflection. So what you do, if for instance you want to attract money, you'd get crystals that are going to be for abundance, business success, luck, that type of thing. So you'd be sort of selecting things like jade, tiger's eye, citrine, and you would put them into a pattern. And it's always nice if you can, but not essential. If you have like a bigger, I usually try to have a bigger crystal in the middle and then center everything out from that crystal. So for instance, for abundance, I'd have like a big citrine in the middle, and then I always put some quartz in because quartz is a massive energy regulator. So especially I love double terminated or terminated quartz because it really concentrates the power. And so I usually include some terminated quartz in there. So if you're thinking about attracting something to you, you point the terminations, which is the points of the quartz, towards the central crystal to attract the energy to you. So you want to attract wealth, money, and then you can just add your other crystals in. So like something like aventurine, that's great for abundance. If you're trying to manifest something specific, you can use malachite because that's a massive manifesting stone. And apatite is another manifesting stone. And basically, you're attracting, you're creating like this massive powerhouse of energy that you can activate. I mean, it'll all be in, as you say, in the videos, because we won't go through it all now, but you activate it all. I like to use Reiki, but I show you how to do it without Reiki. And you leave that in your house. So basically you've got this massive powerhouse. It's basically like having a mini Stonehenge in your house. That's how I like to put it. So it's really the massive thing of law of attraction and intention all combined with the crystal energy in your house. So that's how I see it working.
So how do you think it works? I know you said it's like a massive energy grid. Do you think it's also the ritual of it? Because obviously you can write down what it is you want to get really specific, but also if you're creating a grid, there's obviously a ritual involved to it, a bit more care and love and attention and feeling goes into it. Once you've, sorry, I know there's another question here, but once you've set it up and set it away, as you've described, do you then have to keep revisiting it, or do you just kind of leave it to the side in the background to do its thing, or what would you suggest?
You can do it either way. You can either leave it at the side and just forget about it, because there's some school of thoughts that they think if you concentrate too much and you want something too much, then you start to block it. So you've got to have this balance, but it's always nice to also remind yourself of that intention as well. I believe, as you say, it does work because you're concentrating on it so much. It's that intention. Crystals, they emit energy. That's been proven with quartz. All quartz watches, they work on quartz because it emits energy so regularly. And there is, and combining all those crystals together in a pattern, you're sort of creating a larger energy than the individual crystals. And of course, you've got your intention as well. And I also add Reiki into it as well. So it's sort of like a little mini powerhouse. But just going back, and a nice thing I think is have it on your altar if you do have a meditation altar, and just meditate with it in front of you. So you're concentrating on it, but you're not like, oh, I want that, because you start to naturally repel what you're in a state of want then, which you don't want to be. You just want to be naturally trying to attract your future.
Yeah, detachment, I think, is key, isn't it? If you want something, then obviously you're keeping it always in a want vibration. And what, as the saying goes, one that wants never gets. And it's even though as a kid you heard that a million times, it's only just in later years I've thought, I know what that means now. It's actually one that wants never gets. So have you had any personal either testimonials or personal examples of your grid, your crystal grid, help you to manifest something?
I manifested this flat with it. So that does take a little while, but I did manifest it. I think it was within 6 months from building the grid. So I manifested my new job, not this one, but the one before it. I've manifested quite a few things through crystal grids. I just do think, as you say, it's the whole ritual of it, and it's like doing crystal healing combined with spells, combined with law of attraction, combined with meditating. It's affirmations. It's also quite nice to write down what you want and put it under the center crystal. I quite often do that as part of it.
Yeah, cool. So if you're watching this live or catching a replay, you might want to share this out to your friends. Angela, I'm interviewing Angela Richardson of empoweredcrystals.com. She always gives loads of value. So share the love. Right. I know you've been bringing into your work perhaps a little bit more lately, the psychic side. I know you've got your oracle cards to hand. I know people are always fascinated about that side of the work. I just want to know how you receive the information. I think we touched on this the last time we were on the show, but do you hear thoughts in your mind? Do you see, how's it for you? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but how is the intuitive, the psychic side for you?
To me, it's like it's my own voice, but I can't trace where the thought came from. So it's like something's been implanted in my mind, but it sounds like my own sort of thinking voice. But I also see visions sometimes as well. And I sometimes see people, relatives, and I sometimes see like little visions of something. When something's really powerful and the person's spirit guides really want something through, then I quite often see like a little vision of it in my mind. But yeah, it's sort of probably sort of like a little, almost like remembering a memory, but the memory isn't mine.
Right. So how do you know? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but how do you know? You mentioned if it's your own thoughts or something ethereal or from someone who's passed or a spirit guide. How can you discern the difference?
It just feels different, but I would never do anything without having proof. And I've given free readings to people years ago and seen them come true. I won't name names, but I saw somebody, they were asking about a new boyfriend, and I saw a vision of them with a little girl with long dark hair, and they had, about 3 years later, it all happened. And I was the only one. Everyone else said it was, she went to a lot of psychics and they all said it was going to be a boy. And I was the only one that said it was going to be a girl. And I said, oh, well, I'm probably wrong. No, I was right.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's cool. We've got a lot of questions we put out to your community.
Yeah.
We've got some questions in, so I don't know if you're happy to dive into the questions.
Yeah.
Yep, I've got them. Here's one I prepared earlier. Louise Freer, she's asking, she says, "Hi, hey Angie, please can I ask which stones are the most powerful for one, inner strength and confidence, for example, when life brings immense instability, namely financial and emotional anxiety, feeling unsure of life and love." There's quite a bit in there, of lack of self-worth. Do you want to read that out again?
Yes, please.
So which stones are the most powerful for inner strength and confidence when life brings immense instability? So that's probably just you that first.
Right. I think for inner strength, you're going to be talking about something like a protection stone. Black tourmaline, I find, is amazing. Quite often, it sort of depends where the thoughts are coming from. If they're coming from outside, something like tourmaline or obsidian will be really good. If they're coming from inside, then lepidolite is really good. I do know that person, so I think for her, lepidolite is going to be the most balancing, and then tourmaline gives self-confidence as well. So I feel as though those two are the stones that are going to be the most. With lepidolite, it's really balancing on the mind, and it calms you down, and all those ups and downs that you feel, it balances it out much more. And although part of it is talking from things that I've read, because I've been doing this for years, people come back to me with results, and I've seen that lepidolite is the most successful in balancing out those ups and downs of the mind. I also feel for her, amethyst is a good one because it's calming. So out of those three, so it's black tourmaline, that will protect you from outside influences, clear negativity, increase self-confidence. Lepidolite will balance out the mind and stop those ups and downs. And then amethyst will help to calm and protect and bring a sense of calm in with everything else.
Okay, Louise Freer, that one's for you. She actually follows it up by saying, and this is quite topical at the moment, as she says, "What about for the pain after losing a very close loved one, or the pain of grief?"
Yes, well, that's why I suggested lepidolite, because that is very calming to the mind. Traditionally, the stone that is recommended is Apache tears. But it's sort of, I suppose, it's not an expensive stone, so I suppose you could have a combination of all of them. But traditionally, grief is Apache tears. And that's also why I recommended amethyst, because it's also for grief. Oh, your sound's gone.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you. The next one is by a lady whose name I just couldn't pronounce. I tried and tried and tried, and I just couldn't get it right. And rather than getting it wrong, but she'll know who she is. It begins with Shidiv or something.
Oh, I know the one. Yes, she's from my. I can't pronounce it either. It's a really long one, isn't it? Yeah.
But she asks anyway, would it be possible to have a general crystal chosen that covers everything, please? That's a bit of a no pressure.
I think with that one, should we pull some cards? Because that's really just very general, isn't it?
Yeah, she goes on to say, "You've got awesome jewellery, so beautiful. Many thanks to the both of you for this wonderful opportunity to tune in to receive healing energy." So thank you for that.
Oh, she's a lovely person. Right. Okay. So I'm using the Crystal Grid Oracle cards for this one.
Drum roll.
Yay. So we have got emotions and moonstone. So with that card, it's suggesting that maybe you've got a lot of ups and downs, and your emotions are running high. You've had some stresses, and Moonstone is a very feminine stone, so it's very linked in with the cycles of the moon, as are us women. So it's really good for bringing in energy that's calming, and it brings in a water energy as well. And if you can imagine, sort of, when you stare at the moon, it's quite calming, isn't it? And that's the sort of energy I always associate Moonstone with. And also the thing is with this is that it brings in new beginnings. So if you want new energy of any type, so if you want new ideas, new starts, and that can just be just from our emotional point of view, then Moonstone is a great stone for you for that one. That's that one.
Okay, thank you. Well done. Next one up, we've got a lady called Tanya O'Connell, and she was wondering, she says, I'd love to have a general crystal chosen for a near future. And she's saying these are so beautiful. So a crystal for a near future.
Okay, we'll do this again. These are so general.
Seem more appropriate, yeah.
Right, let's see what we get. Right, we have got red jasper for courage. And that could mean sort of several things. When you've got something like red jasper, it's very calming stone. It's called the Supreme Comforter, and it's for times of stress. So that could predict that, you know, yourself, you're going to be going through a bit of a stressful time. But because it's got courage in as well, it might just mean that you just need that courage to do something, whether it's talking to someone and sorting it out, whether it's moving jobs, going for that promotion, trying to sort out something at work or at home. But you've got to have that courage to have it. With red jasper, because of that red colour, it's energetically quite powerful, because it brings up our energy. It's like carnelian. Any red stones, it sort of energizes us. So although it's said to be a supreme comforter, it's also energizing. So it's sort of predicting that you're going to need some energy and some courage to make some changes and to follow through with some things. So that's it, red jasper.
Yeah, that one is for Tanya O'Connell. So hopefully that was helpful for you. In this moment, I just feel like sharing this. In this moment, I'm remembering where we first met, and it was about 2012 in Spirit Charms Spiritual Forum.
Yeah.
Wingman and Claire Richardson, yeah. And I'm just thinking, haven't we come a long way? My goodness, haven't we come a long way? I'm just reflecting, looking down the metaphorical mountain at both of our growth. So
yes.
Yeah, so kudos. Anyway, Maria Rudenko, she left a question for you, and she was saying she'll hopefully be able to tune in today live, and a general reading would be fab.
Lovely. So what I'll do is I've bought 2 sets of cards because I knew she wanted a general one. So I've got these Moonology cards as well. Oops, going the wrong way. So we've got both of these. These are really nice cards there. So I'm going to pull crystal card and Moonology cards.
I'm just going to see if we've got any comments while you're doing that, because there's none up here at all. I mean, there may not be any, but just in case we're just not getting them shown. No comments as yet. Please feel free to drop some comments or questions live on the stream for Angela. We do have some viewers on though.
Oh, good. It's a relief. Thought I was talking to myself. Right, okay. So we have balance and I would have a double terminated quartz to represent balance. We have a really nice card, prosperity, there. And also a Moonology card, your dreams need practical plans. So basically, with those first two cards, I would have said that balance, you're feeling a bit imbalanced at the moment, and it's blocking your prosperity, basically. But with that third one, your dreams need practical plans, I would say that you actually have a plan, and you're trying to follow it through, but you're having difficulty actually creating and following through for that plan. Now, that might be outside influences that are affecting you and blocking you, or it might be that you yourself are having difficulty actually formulating a plan. So I think if you can sort of calm and think about things, and I think it means that you've got to change direction slightly. Not a lot, but slightly, because balance is all about keeping everything, no extremes. You sort of keep a nice steady flow. And I think you were trying to get some extra money in some way. And if you keep that balance and think carefully about your plan and what you're going to do, that you will get that extra money that you want.
Well, sounds good. So I'm just going to look at the comments section for a second. We've got some wonderful comments now. We've got Lynn Whitman, who I know. She's saying, hi guys, how are you today? She's saying, oh, I love my cards. So thanks for being with us. We've got an old friend of mine as well, Richard Pickett. He's saying, hi Danny, Black Tourmaline, I found to be powerful, and Apache Tears really helped with my overthinking, especially at sleep time. He's got a question. Can crystals work together, or should I stick to one per task depending on how I'm feeling? Good question.
Shall I answer that now?
Yeah, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll definitely work together. If you're feeling as though I have loads of crystals on, I mean, today I've got aventurine for prosperity. I've got my labradorite because I'm going to be tuning in, and that helps with psychic powers. I've got lapis, which is calming, helps the throat chakra, and it helps with psychic powers as well. And I always have my tiger's eye for luck. So at the moment, so yeah. If it creates like a powerhouse, there was actually something in the Bible which was having rings and pendants, and it was supposed to be a mystical thing that it created, like this magical energy power. So definitely work together with things. Whatever you feel drawn to, that first stone is usually the ones that for you.
That's for my mate Richard. Cheers for tuning in. Thank you for your question. Lynn's saying, I read my angel cards every day, and I like your cards too.
Thank you.
We may as well put our next comment. Mercury retrograde is about energies all over the place. Protect and go with the flow. Don't we just love Mercury retrograde? And then she said she loves listening to your readings. Quite agree. I've got to get this one up. She's saying, keep them in your bra. I'm guessing she's meaning your crystals.
Yes, loads of people say that. I haven't got any room.
Men in their pockets, crystals. Thanks for the laugh, yeah. We've got my mate Teresa as well. She's saying, a friend gave me the Moonology. Such a lovely, doesn't actually show you the rest of the comment, unfortunately. But thanks for your comment, Teresa. Right, I've got some more. We've got Louisa Lloyd. She's saying all your work is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's lovely. She said she'd love a self-boost or calming crystal, please.
Oh, a calming crystal. Now, there's quite a few that are calming, and it sort of depends where your anxiety comes from. So if you feel that it comes from you absorbing, if you're an empath, you feel as though you're absorbing other people's negativity. So you, like, if you're fine when you get up and then you go to work and you feel a lot worse at work with people around you, that's sort of a bit of a sign that you're absorbing other people's energies. So in that way, something like black tourmaline would help you. It sort of like forms quite a powerful protection. The other stone, which is if you feel as though you generate, well, this is if you've got a combination. If you feel as though you generate your own anxiety and you absorb it, kyanite is amazing. It clears, it's said to clear all the chakras instantaneously and realign them. And that's a powerful statement. But practically, when I've recommended kyanite and whenever I used it myself, you just feel calmer. You don't pick up those energies and you don't really get into that point where you're escalating, basically. Traditionally, a calming stone is amethyst. I've just found that black tourmaline and kyanite are so much more powerful because generally anxiety doesn't come just because it either comes from outside or within or a combination of both. And so I've had great successes. I've also had good successes with lapis lazuli, calming, especially if you have difficulty speaking, because it's for the throat chakra. So if you find you get social anxiety, you have trouble speaking to people, lapis lazuli is a great one. It's also supposed to be good for sleep and for panic attacks. So if that's sort of you're going to the extreme, lapis is quite a good one. But as I say, tourmaline and kyanite I found really powerful out of them all. That's the most.
Thank you for that. We've got a couple more comments. I like to make these interactive if I can. So Teresa's also saying, Danny, it's the first time on live Facebook for a while. Yeah, it's I haven't been doing them lately either. So yeah, thank you for being here. Just says she's loving Angie's energy and wisdom. Thank you. Aren't we all? Yes, thanks for that. We've got Richard followed up by saying, cheers, Angela, and thanks, Danny. You're very welcome.
Welcome.
And Michelle Collingwood. I've known Michelle since school days, my goodness, long time. Just saying, good morning. I've got some of your earrings. Beautiful. Oh, so she's an existing customer.
Perfect.
And Lynn is saying, my magic wand is my selenite. I love it for aura and recharges. Also charges other stones.
Yeah.
All right, she's got a question as well. Lynn is also asking, I would like to do a crystal healing course. Do you know of a good one to attend?
I'm self-taught, so no, I'm afraid. I think, I'm just trying to think of her name. But no, I mean, I've done everything intuitively, personally. I've experiences and how I feel with things. It's quite difficult if you're not sensitive to energies working with crystals, I think. If you are sensitive energies, then it's very intuitive. Can't hear you.
Sorry, I've got noise in the background, so I keep turning off. Louise is saying, thank you for taking the time to choose some crystals for me. And I've got another one from Anne Millington. I've got one from Anne Millington. She's got a concern around health. She doesn't see what the health issue is, but she's hoping we could offer some guidance or help. Obviously, you're not a doctor or a healthcare professional. We have to get that in, but.
Oh, God, yes. Well, I mean, with crystals, I mean, you've got to be sensible. It's complementary. It's not going to harm, and it might help. I always say it's a spiritual support. I'm worked in a hospital for years, and I would never dish any hospitals because they do a wonderful job. But equally, it's a variable outcome. You can go into hospital, you can get better, you can go into hospital, get worse. And it's the same with crystals. You've got to sort of think of it in relation to everything else. Now, with a deep healing stone, it's sort of quite specific as to what area. But malachite is really, really deep healing, and azurite is really, really deep healing. Generally, the green colours are green tends to be quite a healing colour. So the deep colour of malachite is really good if you're having health issues. I have actually done a spell, I think, on YouTube for health. It was either a spell or grid, but anyway, check that out. There's healings as well. So I'm sort of working through going through specific things. But the important thing when you're using a stone, especially like malachite, is it does tend to reflect any negativity back to you. So if you're feeling really negative, try not to pick up the stone. Try to prepare yourself before you actually start to work with it. So sage, and do a quick meditation to try and cleanse yourself. You can get clearing oils as well. Things like rosemary is very cleansing for the aura. You can also burn it as well, and then try to work with the malachite or wear it. But yeah, I mean, also the other thing is, as somebody else mentioned with the selenite, it does cleanse negative energy. So if it's like sometimes we have energy blocks that come up, and it's quite a good one to work with, selenite. It sort of clears out the negative energy and resets ourselves.
Nice one. Thank you, Angela. Got one more question before you can showcase some of your beautiful pieces. Rebecca Stewart said that her area of concern was finances. So any help or guidance or insight with finances and crystals? Obviously, you're not a financial advisor.
Financial advisor. Yeah, it depends on sort of what you're working with finances. If you're working with trying to get a new job or a business up and running, there's certain crystals that will help better. Or if you're just generally trying to attract money randomly, you've got something like citrine, attracts wealth. You've got aventurine, attracts abundance. Now, the thing is with abundance, you're not talking just about money. You're also talking about abundance, happiness, sort of just a feeling of wellness, I suppose, in all your areas of life. So it'll be that you're healthy, happy, and you've got money, enough money to live off with abundance. If you're talking specifically about business success, something like jade, it brings in business success, luck with business projects. Also, citrine brings in business success. There is also the thing, if you feel as though you've had a run of bad luck, and that's why you're out of money, that you've either had, I don't know, your car's broken down, you've had a boiler's broken down, you're just hemorrhaging money. Luck crystals are the ones to work with. So things like tiger's eye, jade brings in luck, that sort of thing. So you've got to sort of start to analyze where the money is going. It's not a bad thing to do generally. Is it just I'm not earning enough money, so I need to attract a new job? Is it that I'm earning enough money but things keep on going wrong? Is it that I'm starting a new business and I need to attract more business success? So there's quite a few bits and pieces that you need to sort of analyze when it comes to money.
Thank you. So actually one more question. I think I already know the answer to this. Lynn Wheatman followed up what you were talking about when you said you were self-taught, but you're saying she agrees with you, but do you need a certificate to work with crystals to be like a professional? Obviously you're professional with crystals. So do you need
Well, I mean, I don't do crystal healing on people. I mean, I sell jewelry, and it just happens to be a nice sides thing that I treat the jewelry with, that I hope that it brings a nice energy. So I'm not actually doing active healing on people. When you're starting to talk about healing, you need to have insurance and you need to go into a different lane, which I haven't gone down because it's quite complicated. But with my jewelry, even though I believe it's healing, I don't offer any guarantees for the jewelry, and I also don't charge for the Reiki. I just charge for the materials and, you know, the amount of profit I work into that. So it's a different thing if you're talking about actually doing crystal healing with people. Hibiscus Moon, she's the one that does the online. It's suddenly come to me, online healing course.
Oh, well, thanks for clarifying that. Right. Do you have some of your jewellery that you can show the viewers?
I do. I've got some new pieces that I've made recently. I'm hoping I'm going to get a bit of a flash on this one. It's a Tree of Life labradorite pendant. Yeah, you're getting a bit of a flash there.
And of course, your website is empoweredcrystals.com, which is going across the bottom of the screen as we speak.
So that would just sit, keep going the wrong way, sit like that. I also do like little angel pendants. It's another Tree of Life. That's labradorite as well. Oh, you can see a nice flash there. I've also got these new, which I haven't listed up yet, square rings. Just try to, probably not the best colour. That's better colour. So I've got these new square rings. And also I have these new wire wraps. So it's like a crisscross wire wrap. Those are in smoky quartz, and I've done them in matching earrings as well.
They are quite beautiful and quite a work of art. Let's call a spade a spade. I know you put a lot of time and effort and love and energy into it.
Oh, and I've got my box as well. I do some crystal boxes.
So
amethyst.
What about the inspiration? Where do you get your inspiration from? Does it just land when you're in the shower or drinking a cup of tea?
Quite often 3 o'clock in the morning. I've been known to get out of bed and actually do a design at 3 o'clock in the morning. But with the wire wrapping, it's usually sort of traditional techniques that you have to learn, and then I tend to modify them because I've had quite a big experience. I always like to do something a little bit different. So I sort of look at a design, a wire wrapping technique, and then I sort of modify it because quite often there's sort of something I don't like about the design. So I try to adapt it so that I like everything about it.
Yeah. Lynn Whitman's saying she's interested in your jewellery. Could you leave a website in this link, please? Yeah, it's empoweredcrystals.com. I'll be flash along the bottom. Just seeing how you're local. You live in down south, don't you?
Down south, yes. Sorry.
I think Lynn's local to me from memory. So yeah, you're not local in that sense, but obviously via your website and via Facebook, you're very accessible and friendly and open and honest, and you provide a great service. And the jewellery pieces come beautifully boxed in nice presentation and little notes inside, and it's all done extremely well. So I can recommend, Angela. I've had some pieces delivered myself over the years. I know you've got so much fantastic feedback on your Etsy store and your website. People have ordered from you and have given you some amazing feedback, 5-star reviews and the like. So can you give us an idea of price ranges, what to start from, the middle bit and the premium ones?
Yes, from the lower range, I've combined shipping now so that everything's free shipping, so you know what you're getting up front. So we decided to go down that route, so because people are getting a bit confused with everything. So it starts from £13, including all the packaging and the shipping, and it goes up to, most of my stuff's around £20 mark for sterling silver, and it goes right up to about £80 for something like Moldavite, which is really rare and really expensive for me to buy, let alone prepare it for the jewellery. So yeah, it's mostly around the £20 mark. Quite a lot of pendants and stuff around the £13 mark as well, silver plated area.
Right. Angela, you've been amazing. You've given loads of value as always. It's always a delight to work with you. I want to thank the viewers as well for your questions, either live on the chat or days before. Do you have any final thoughts? Where can people contact you?
Yeah, I'm really active on Instagram. I post every other day on Instagram. So anything new that always gets posted up onto Instagram, that's at Empowered Crystals. I'm doing videos more regularly on YouTube, and I'm going through the zodiac readings at the moment. So if you want a free reading for your zodiac sign, YouTube, that's Empowered Crystals as well. If you look that up, it should come up my username. And obviously Facebook, Empowered Crystals as well. But obviously with my jewelry, I know people say, oh, you're just trying to make money. I wouldn't be selling it if I didn't believe in it. I hadn't seen the results, and I don't feel the results myself. I wouldn't be doing it. I worked in a hospital for years, and the reason I went into it is because I saw the results, I saw the benefits, I felt the benefits myself. And if you don't believe in it, fine, but I do, and that's why I sell this jewelry, because I find the results, and we get lots of feedback. I get lots of feedback of the results as well.
What an awesome note to end on. Like I say, share this out if you feel like somebody that you know would get some benefit from it. Keep your questions coming. If you're on the replay, we'll try and circle back to you. And much love, and bye for now. Thanks, Angela.